Conversations with your favorite cousin, Backpack Jeff. This is like our family road trip. And what do you do when you're on a family road trip? You have car rides and conversations. There's no sense in being on a long car ride if you're not going to listen to great music or if you're not going to have some amazing conversations. And I think since we here together, I think we might as well just have some amazing conversations. Today, I actually want to listen. You got to make sure you're taking your immunity. Okay, you got to do something for your immune system. It's getting older, getting crazy out here. Weather, allergies, spring, all of the things. Woo! Quick immunity shot with some ginger and some cayenne in it, and then also another immunity shot with some turmeric in it. Good for the body, good for the soul. Heard a lot of great things about cayenne and turmeric, so I try to make sure that I incorporate them into my diet. But car rides and conversations today, I want to talk about not being ashamed of your story. Not being ashamed of your story. I think once people embrace that their story is what it is, and they stop being ashamed of it, they stop being afraid of it, but they embrace it, and they realize that there's power in their story. I think that's the biggest reason that people are ashamed of their story is because they don't see the power in it. They only see the pain in it. They only see the sorrow in their story. They don't necessarily see the power in their story. And there's power, man, there's power in your story. I mean, your story has the power to move you, but not only move you, but move so many other people as well, because you're not the first person to go through what you're going through, and you certainly won't be the last person to go through what you're going through. When we understand that it's possible, that's when we can take back control of our story and we can write the narrative of our story, as opposed to allowing life or society to write our story for us. I think what most people are afraid of is the criticism that they'll get from embracing their story, from telling their story. I think a lot of people are afraid of the criticism that they'll get. And I think that's what stops people from truly embracing their story is, you know, they don't want to be judged, or they don't want people to feel bad for them, or they don't want the I think man, it's so important. Good morning, everybody. Thank y'all for coming in. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't want the critique, they don't want the criticism, they don't want the negativity that comes with. Good morning, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Please do me a favor and tap on the tap that follow button for me. My AirPod is reading y'all comments back, so I'm trying to I'm trying to listen to it. So yeah. But yeah, I think a lot of people they don't want the criticism, they don't want the critique, they don't want you to feel sorry for them, so they don't want to share their story. I'll share when at my lowest point on June 4th, 2014, I lost my house and my job the same exact day, and it literally brought me to tears, and it was my darkest moment, and the reason being is because and like in being Pennsylvania, I really had no one there. I really had no one there. And what happened was I ended up losing my job. So there was an investigation that happened at my job. There was an investigation that was happening at my job, and I think going through everything that I went through in this moment is what made me so emotionless. Sometimes I think that's what makes me so emotionless. A lot of times is because everything that I did to help people when I was the program manager at this shelter, it all came to backfire on me because the moment I had to do my job, that's when everybody's like, well, if I'm getting in trouble, I'm going to take you down with me. And they started to take me down with them. Well, Mr. Jeff was doing this for us, and he was giving us rides in his car, and he was blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, how you going to turn on me after I did all of this for you? I did all of this for y'all to help y'all, give y'all rides, give y'all money, do everything for y'all, and now you turning on me? And I really saw that in social work, you really have to create boundaries, and you have to hold to those boundaries. And if you don't hold to those boundaries, they're always going to have one up on you. And anytime you don't give them what they want, they're going to remind you of that one up. And it's only when you don't need your job anymore can you say, I mean, I don't care what you do with that. And during my younger years, of course, I needed employment. I still need employment now, but it was vastly different then. And I think going through that investigation, everything coming back unfounded, but even though it did come back unfounded, they never called me back to reclaim my position. And so with that, I obviously got fired. Not only that day, my landlord, she sends me this text message. And she's like, hey, Jeff, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. What did you need to talk about? I said, if it's something urgent, I can give you a call right now. She said, no, I need to talk to you in person. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, what could it be? I'm like, there's no damage at the house. It's the 4th. I just paid her rent. So I don't know what she could be asking me for at this moment. So I said, you know what? Listen, I'm getting off early today. Why don't you meet me at the house? So I get to the house and she's there. Well, not she's there, but she comes about 10 to 15 minutes later, knocks on the door. I open the door. Hey, Miss Suzanne, how you doing? Hey, Jeff. And she hands me a note and she says, I sold the house. You got 30 days to get out. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this was happening on the same day that I was under investigation at my job and possibly losing my job. And in that moment, I called my cousin and I asked him for a song. I always knew my cousin was the most musically inclined person in the family that I knew, and I knew if I called him, he would have a song for me that can help get me in a positive state of mind. And the song that he sent me was James Fortune, Live Through It. And in this song, James Fortune, Live Through It, he says, in this life, you will have trouble. You can't avoid it. You can't get around it, but you will get through it. And it helped me to understand that in life, you are going to have problems. You're going to have trouble. You're going to have struggles. But the thing is, you can live through it. You can get through this. You can't avoid it. You can't get around it, but you can live through it. And at the end of the song, he says, well, I'll tell y'all in the middle of the song, they talk about it always hurts worse when it's someone close to you. And it was someone close to me that was doing a lot of the things to me at this point. And during that time, there was a lot of personal struggles that I was also going through. So not only going through the struggle of losing my house, losing my job, now personally, I can no longer see my child. So house, income, and family all lost at the same time. I mean, think about the mental state that I'm in right now. And I don't have any family in Pennsylvania. So it's me and my dog. I got a dog. Her name is Sarabi. She's a red-nosed pit bull and a beagle mix. And it was me and her. And that was it. And I had to figure out what to do during that time. I really did. I had to figure out what to do. And, man, it was heartbreaking. So at the end of the song, he says, God's about to reverse it and give you back double. God's about to reverse it and give you back double. And I embraced that. I leaned in to that. I held on to that with everything that I possibly could because I needed God to reverse what I was going through. Because what I was going through was something that I knew would change my life forever. I just didn't know how it was going to change my life forever. I was homeless at this time. And this is what I mean when I say you got to embrace your story. Even then, I was embracing my story. I was embracing my story even then, and I lost this job, and then I found the insurance business. Well, in the insurance business, I more than doubled my income in the first year. I more than doubled my income in the first year. Even though I lost my job, I doubled my income in the first year. Even though I lost this house, I found another house in 11 days. In 11 days, I had 30 days to get out. I found another house in 11 days, moved out in 11 days, and this house was bigger than, it was the same size as the one that I was living in, but it was costing me less money, man. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then from there, it was on. It was time to work. And so I got to work, and I started to live my life and embrace my story, and I started not to be ashamed of my story. Even at this time, having a car repossessed. Even at this time, having an eviction on my renter's report. Even at this time, losing my job because of an investigation, and now everything that I've wanted for myself possibly at risk, because what's the point of going to school for psychology or social work if you get into an investigation situation and now your degree is basically rendered useless? So I start to embrace this. I start to change the narrative. I take my pen back away from life, because if you don't write your story, life is going to write your story. Life is going to write your story, because life always continues. Life always moves. And if you don't write your story, if you don't take the pen back and become the author of your story and write your own history, life is going to write it for you, or someone else is going to write it for you. And they're not going to write the ending to your life the way that you would want it to be written. And one thing that I know for sure, for certain, is that I don't want someone else to get the credit for writing my story, because I know they're not going to write the ending to my story the way that I see my life ending. I started to see my life in a different light because I started listening to motivational speakers. I started to let them pour into me. And even though they weren't talking directly to me, they were probably speaking on stage or probably speaking to someone else during that time. I made it personal. Even listening to James Fortune's song, I made it personal. In the song where he says his name, he says, James, you can't live through it. I changed that to Jeff. I said, Jeff, you can live through it. Jeff, you will live through it. I stopped being ashamed of my story. We got to stop being ashamed of our stories and stop acting like we are not where we are in our stories. Many of us, or many people on social media, they try to pretend that they're at the glory part of their story instead of the working part of their story. Nah, I'm at the working part of my story. I realize this. I realize that I'm at the working part of my story. I'm not at the enjoying part of my story yet. Me and my wife, we still making some sacrifices financially, relationally. We still making some sacrifices. There's a lot of sacrifices that we still have to make. So that's not me. Y'all never gonna see that from me. But it's important for us to embrace this story. I had a client. She wanted to get from out of the homeless program into an apartment, and she had the landlord call, and she wanted me to lie to the landlord and say that she's been paying $1,600 a month for the past 5 years. Now, this person has been paying $0 a month for the last 5 years. I couldn't understand why they would want me to lie and say, hey, she's been paying $1,600 a month for the last 5 years. No, that's not how that works. I took ethics classes. I can't lie for you in this situation. Not if he comes and asks, is there a ledger, a rental ledger? Is there a rental history? Can I see some documented proof of this rental history? Because I could be one. I could be her cousin. Many people have done that before. Use their cousin as their job reference because their cousin got different names. So she wanted me to lie, and I didn't lie. And she blamed me for not getting that townhome. And I said, hold on, you can't blame me for not getting that townhome. Number one, you didn't tell me the lie. That's really what I'm saying. You got to tell me the lie first. But then number two, why am I lie for you? You need to embrace your story. Your story is one that deserves to be celebrated. You're in a homeless program. You go back to school. You get your certification. And then you come out making over $60,000 a year. Shorty making more than her case manager. Why you wanna not embrace that story? How you wanna not hold on to that story? Come on, man. That's a beautiful story. That's a testimony. That's a book. That's a movie. That's something that somebody want to read. You was in a homeless program, went back to school, graduated, living with rats, roaches, mice, poverty-infested neighborhood. Out of everything, you was one of the ones that didn't get caught in the mindset trap that is Section 8 homeless program. So if I'm you, if I'm gonna call a landlord and I'm telling the landlord, hey, listen, man, I was going through some things personally. I ended up in this homeless program, and I got stuck here way longer than I should have. But as my children started to get older, I started to recognize that my children needed more, and they were looking to me as their leader. And I decided to go back to school, get my certification. I completed the program, and now I'm making X amount of dollars a year. No, I didn't have rent for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm blessed to not have done that. But the work and the growth that I've done and that I've accumulated in my life over the last 4 to 5 years being in this program, I think if you call my case manager and my program manager, they'll be able to give you character witnesses before they will be able to give you a rental history, because it's not something that I have. But I can tell you for sure they would vouch for my character, and we would vouch for your character, because you are everything that you just said. You are someone who is leading your family. You are someone who we've seen go back to school, get yourself into a program where you can make money and you can financially support your family. You are that person. You became that person. And it's such a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that's why it's important for us to have these stories, because somebody is going to want to hear that story. Tyler Perry might want to make a movie out of that story. I don't know. Tyler Perry might want to make a movie out of that story. I don't know, but my story and your story, you know, it's something that we shouldn't have to be ashamed of. Something that we should feel a sense of pride in. Something that we should look at as a badge of honor, not as something that we should feel ashamed of, not as something that we want people to feel bad for us. People want to see your journey because it gives them hope, it gives them reason, it gives them light, it gives them encouragement. Because a lot of people won't share their story. They won't take off their mask. Most people would rather walk around with a smiling mask on, and mask of I'm doing extremely well in my life, but something so free when you take off that mask. But there's so many people that are wearing masks so often that when they get home, they have to take off so many masks that they forgot which one is really them. They forgot what their real face looks like. They forgot what their real life looks like. Don't be so consumed with pretending that you forget who you are. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They pretend so much that they forget who they are. Don't forget who you are, because your authentic self, your free self, your you, man, that's the person that everybody loves. You think that everybody loves this you with the mask on and this you that you have to pretend to be. Nobody loves that, man. They like it temporarily. It brings temporary satisfaction and joy, maybe a few laughs, but it doesn't bring lasting connection. What brings lasting connection is the real you. When you understand who you are, when you understand what your purpose is, when you understand the reason why you're here. Some people pretend so much that they forget who they really are. And there's positive and negative views in that. You can change yourself in a positive way, or you can change yourself in a negative way. But what we see is mostly people change themselves in a negative way because they're trying to be something that they're not, just for like social media purposes. But when you can be you and get the likes, man, that's when, man. Right next to some motorcyclists. USMC. But that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. I appreciate y'all. Embrace your story. Embrace your story. Don't lose you. Don't lose you. It's important that you don't lose you. I appreciate y'all. It's your favorite cousin Backpack. See you at church on Sunday.